Hi everyone, it's Jacinta from Eggcellent Chooks here. Just sharing some ideas I've come across on my journey with learning about chooks, and I thought I'd share with you this morning. This is my little fluffy butt hut there. You can see. So that's something I painted up that saw an idea on my chook pen. I hope you can see that there. Here's my lavender Sussex girls. Hello. So I've got two. These are only pullets, so they're just growing into hens now, but very young still. And you can see that their back tail feathers are just coming back. We had some issues when I first got them. Bought them from a lovely lady, and they were fantastic looking from the front end, and knew that they were worth buying, but the back end, it actually had lots of peck marks and feathers out. It had no skin left on the back end, and all the feathers were just pecked apart. So I did ask, what was the issue there, and she said, well, I think they have been bored in the pen, got a bit of a fetish with the taste of blood. I know it's a well-known kind of condition that they can get, that they attract that and then continue to peck. So I was thinking of ideas of how to distract them. So lots of herbs, lots of plants in there, lots of feed to take their mind off that idea. And I also looked into properties that I could spray on there without using too much chemicals on their backsides, and looked at tea tree oil. You could use tea tree oil, but I used eucalyptus because I had eucalyptus oil. So I put, I don't know, probably 10 mils into a little spray bottle with water, and continued to spray each day when I fed the chickens. I'd come out and I'd just corner them off and give them a good spray on the backside as they were walking around, and feed them and distract them while they're sort of bending down, and give it a good old spray. And within a month they've grown back, so it must have worked. I noticed that as that was happening when I was spraying, they'd still go up and have a peck, and they were curious, but when they pecked they would wipe their beak as if to say, oh, that didn't taste too good. So that was the answer, I thought, and kept it up, and like I said, it did work. So it's worth a try if you've got that problem at home, and you've noticed that there's blood, because this particular time they had blood coming out, and they did look like they were open to infection, which was concerning. So once I kept that spray up, it seemed to work quite quickly. I could tell daily that feathers were appearing, and the continuation of that sort of helped. Also, it's got antiseptic properties into the spray with the eucalyptus, so any mites or anything that was lingering around there that might have inhibited growth was also helping. So that was a good idea at the time, and it worked. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. Here's our lovely speckled Sussex. Got the young roux in the middle there, you can probably see. And the girls, they're all doing very well. They're only very young still too, so this will be their first season. And you can see on my little pullet here. Hello, little darling. Good morning. Can you see? She's only very young, so I've kept her in this young pen just to make sure she survives with all the young ones. She'll go into the light Sussex pen with all the big boys over there and the girls, but just too young at the moment to do that. So just waiting for her to get old enough to come over there. I hope you're seeing this quite well. A bit hard with the camera. I've got the lavender here, and they've eaten out the side of the lavender, which they love. Lots of immune-boosting properties there with lavender as well as putting it on their nesting beds as well. Inside, I do that. I throw it inside there, which on cue is jumping in. So that's always good to freshen up the bedding. Helps with mites and whatnot as well. Excuse this weather, it's very windy today. You can see here I've got some herbs. I've got the sage here. Wormwood. Comfrey's been cut down, but there is roots down here. Where are you? Hiding in there. They'll come up. Rosemary. Now these have all been pecked at, so that's looking a bit sad at the moment, but that's what it's all about, is for them to peck at and to keep them healthy for the chickens. Lemon balm. I've turned that around, that's just to give it a break. It's been absolutely eaten up, which they love. This is a perennial basil. So, I hope you're seeing that. I've got all this at my place, so if you're interested, let me know. In Victoria. Sage again. They stick their heads through this cage here, this fence area, and they will peck whatever they want to get to. So, get the idea. It's really good in pots because they get a chance to eat what they want. We can rotate them, you can move them about, you know, give the plant a break when you need to. So that's that. Hope you got some vision there of seeing what that's all about and how it works. The turkeys are making a good old noise. Hello girls. Good morning. They've been eating out the summer crop for the winter one, so we'll clean this up and put in some winter greens and a few things there. They're eating all the weeds and the chickweed in the middle, all that green part there, you can see it. They love all of that. They've eaten the comfrey, they've eaten strawberries, a bit of lettuce, a bit of beetroot, tomatoes, whatever they can find, they will eat. And being a big fan of permaculture and the no-dig system, it means that there's layers always on top of your land, on your soil. So the green on that soil is really good. It keeps the nutrients in, all the worms in, and moisture up high. Lots of fungi and lots of properties inside that help to grow all your plants, nitrogen based. So keep that going. I only dig out what I need to plant the next lot. Not worried about having the soil all open and cultivated. That seems to be a no-no these days, and I've learnt a lot about that because you expose a lot of earth. You leave it open to dry it out, take away all the nutrients out of the soil. The worms don't come up to the dry soil, they come up to a moist soil. So if you leave a layer on top, you'll have a better garden and you'll have more chance of propagating all kinds of veggies and whatnot. So we use a lot of chip bark on our soil We've composted, you can see we've got a compost bed system over here. Just a small one at the moment, but we often just chip bark it straight onto the property. So my husband's got a big chipper and it goes straight out into the land and gets mulched from there. So all this is mulch, cow manure, organic material, leftover pumpkins and such. They'll all get thrown to the chickens or onto the garden. Everything seems to grow very well that way. So the no-dig system's just a natural way of permaculture. You can see it on so many sites these days, and it's really interesting. I find it fascinating, and it's really helped us to benefit in all sorts of ways, and same with the chickens as well. So we use their manure on the garden, recycle it all, so it all works out quite lovely. As you can see, here's our lovely light Sussex. Good morning, Duke, how are you? And your posse of girls and boys there. Got a few young roos to go. Anyone's interested, let me know. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, good morning. There's some big boys in there. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, that little pullet that I had over there in the small pen, she'll go in here, but she wouldn't survive at the moment with this age group. It's just too big. Too much of a shock to the system, I think, to have jumped in there straight away, and she wouldn't probably survive. So it's always good if you've got a small age group of chickens in a pen to keep them all together for a little bit, and then separate them into your breeds if you've got, certain breeding pens, because it just helps with keeping the survival rate. The young ones will look after the young ones, and the old ones look after the old ones. It's just the pecking order of life, so to speak. And here's our Buckingham Palace. Good morning, everyone. Hello.